Hey y'all, it's your friend D, and in today's video, we're going to continue working on our church. Last time we made the front door, and today we're going to build the walls of the church. So let's get into it. For my front walls, I've decided my measurements are going to be 20 inches wide and 20 inches in height. That'll give me enough space for the front door and a little extra space at the top, and I'll have enough room for two windows on the side. For my windows, I'm just using leftover foam board from the gazebo like I did with the door. And I just trimmed out the inside, and I think this is trimmed to 1/2 inch wide. And I've already kind of sketched it out on my foam board for the wall, so I just have to go back and cut that out. And I did the same thing for the door. So let me just move this out of the way. And you can see I've already traced around that, and I know where to cut out for my door. So I'm going to get these cut out and I'll be right back. So I have my windows and my doorway cut out, as well as my frames for my windows. And originally I wanted the front of my church to be flat, but I've changed my mind on that, and I've decided I want to do something a little bit different. So I have these two pieces of foam board cut to about 1 inch wide, and I'm going to place them on the sides of the door. And I'm hoping to create kind of like an entryway, not really a foyer, but just a little bit of an entryway to give the front a little bit more dimension. So I'm going to get these glued into place and we'll go from there. So I went ahead and attached the door frame to the front, and now I can start adding some of my other pieces to the front walls. And the first thing I'm going to do is add these two pieces to the bottom, and they're going to be like my baseboards. Well, I don't know if they're still called baseboards when they're on the outside. Is it just trim? Maybe it's just trim. But anyway, they're going to be at the bottom. And I cut these to 1 inch wide. And I also did the same thing at the very top, or I'm going to do the same thing at the top, but not just yet. I did mark my line of where it's going to go because I needed to have that up there for the other item that I'm going to add to the front. And that's going to be these white dowel rods. Well, they're the barbecue skewers from the Dollar Tree. And I painted them white, and they're going to go along the front of the church and the side walls. And I'm going to cut them to fit between the top trim and the bottom trim. So I have my dowel rods in place, and a little lesson I learned while doing this is to draw some lines before you start gluing them in place. It just helps to make sure that you're laying them down straight. And on the left side, I did that, and it came out a lot better than the right side, which is the side I did first. And I just had little marks at the very top and the bottom. And it worked out for the longer ones, but the shorter ones, as you can see here, one of them was kind of crooked and it left this gap between them. But it's okay. I'm going to leave it. For now, I'm not going to try to rip it up. And for the other rods that are going to go above the doorway, I'm going to leave those off for now until I do the roof. And I'll do that in another video. So next, I'm going to start working on the other walls. So for the other walls of the church, I have two pieces of foam board. And the first piece is 12 inches wide and 20 inches in height. And my walls are actually going to be 10 inches wide, but I needed an extra 2 inches on this so I can make a little flap. And I'm going to use that to attach onto the other walls. And I'll show you how I do that later. For the other walls, I'm using one piece of foam board, and it is 30 inches across and 20 inches in height. I have two lines drawn here to divide the foam board into three sections, and I'm going to score along that so that this foam board can fold. And I'll also add my dowel rods and my window frames. So this portion of the walls, I did put the dowel rods on. These other two panels, I think I'm gonna leave as is because I have enough rods to finish it, but I can't find any more of these rods in my Dollar Tree in my area. So I'm going to just leave it as is for now because I may need to use some of the rods inside of the church. Plus, this is the back of the church, so you kind of won't see it anyway. And that extra panel that I cut, since it is going to be a side wall, I did go ahead and add some of the rods to it. And remember, this panel was longer across than the other ones. The other ones were 10 inches wide, and this one was 12 inches wide. And that extra 2 inches I had, I pulled out the foam board that was in it. And that left me with this paper on the side of this panel. So this foam board piece here is the larger piece with the back wall. And this panel here is going to get glued to it using that paper. So I'll just match the top and bottom up and glue the paper to the larger panel. I have to make sure when I'm gluing it down that I leave enough space so it can fold. So I'm going to get it glued in place so you can see what it looks like. So you can see here where I have that paper glued on, and it is a little wrinkled where the glue is still wet, but that's okay. I'm hoping as the glue dries that the wrinkles will go away. But if not, it's okay because this is the back side of the church. And I also think if I find more of those rods and I can put them on the back, it'll help to hide that. If not, we can always put a tree there, or like I said, it's the back of the church. So this is the inside of the church, and it's pretty big, almost too big for my table. This is the front panel with the door, and over here you have those other ones that fold. And so we have the two that without the dowel rods in the back. So I think it's going to fold down pretty good. And from the side, it is about 10 inches wide, and on the front and back sides, it is 20 inches wide. Here's a look at the front of the church, and I just have the front door leaning against the wall. Um, I'm putting off attaching it until I finish the inside, and I need to decide what flooring I'm going to use and what color I'm going to use for the window frame. And I want to get your help on deciding the flooring, so I have three to choose from. Here's option number one. It is black and white checkered flooring. And I wanted my squares to be a little bit bigger, but my craft store only had this one. So I don't know if it'll work, but I still do like it. Here it is inside of the church. And I do kind of like it. I've seen pictures with churches that have this type of flooring, and I think it's pretty. Option number two is a dark wood flooring, and I like this one. I'm just worried it might be too dark for the inside of the church. So here it is inside of the church, and I do like it. Do think it looks a little dark though, and I probably won't be able to put dark trim around the windows with this flooring. But maybe once I get lights inside, it'll look a lot better. And here's option number three. This is a peel and stick paper from the Dollar Tree. It is a lighter wood grain, and I like this one also. And here's option three inside of the church. And I like it, but just not as much as I like the first two. So let me know which one you like the best. Number one, the black and white checkerboard. Number two, the darker wood. Or number three, the lighter wood. And I will take all of your opinions into consideration when I'm making my final decision. So my friends, that's all I have for you in this video. Please let me know which flooring you like best, either one, two, or three. And if you have any questions about anything in this video, please leave it in the comments below. I will try to the best of my ability to answer your questions. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. I'll see you next time, my friends. Bye-bye.